Welcome back to the offseason. I'm Cassie, joined by Lou Canellis. We talked the NFL draft, which is less than a month away, and now let's turn our attention to Caleb Williams as he enters his second season. And I think the big question is, how should we look at this second season for Caleb Williams? Because I remember talking on a previous show with you that I feel like his rookie season was a wash. He had a terrible coaching situation that he was drafted into, dealt with multiple coaching changes, and we saw the offensive line play poorly in front of him, along with sometimes him holding onto the ball too long, which resulted in the 68 sacks. So how would you frame up what the expectation should be of Caleb Williams now that he has everything that he asked for with Ben Johnson, a bolstered offensive line, and he still has Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and a new offensive scheme that should be catered to his skill sets?
As bad a season as he had, I thought his numbers were pretty good. And you know what? I thought he did a terrific job of protecting the football. Didn't throw many interceptions out there. And I'm expecting big things from Caleb Williams this year. Listen, he's got the assistant coach of the year. He got the bell of the ball, all right, as his new head coach. Ben Johnson, terrific offensive coordinator. We've talked about what he did in Detroit. They averaged 33 points a game. They scored 68 touchdowns last year. They lapped the field. That's how good their offense was. They went out. They got Pro Bowlers in Joe Tooney. Jonah Jackson was a Pro Bowler. And they paid for the top center in free agency in Drew Dahlman. So they've got him protection now on the offensive line. He still has playmakers. All right, say what you want about DeAndre Swift. He's still going to be used out of the backfield to catch the football. And he's got DJ Moore, who they pay big money for, and he also has Rome Odunze. So I think that Caleb Williams is in a position this season, if they are to start to run the football like they need to run the football under Ben Johnson, I expect Caleb Williams to be a top 10 quarterback in the league.
Wow,
I really do.
Put it here this first. And is that because of you saw the decision making? Because I think it was actually funny. I was watching back Bucky Brooks talk about Caleb Williams coming into the draft last year, and he was like, one thing you got to watch out for is the turnovers. And he didn't turn the ball over. That was something that we could all agree, and we were even questioning, should he be taking more risky throws to try to get more deep balls and get more explosive plays? So what did you see to believe that he has that skill set right now? Is it the IQ, talent, being able to play off script? What was the main thing right after seeing him his rookie season?
All the above. I thought he was calm and collective through what was a crazy year here in Chicago, where his offensive coordinator was fired midway through the season, as a rookie, by the way. Let's not forget, first year at quarterback. And then he lost his head coach in the middle of the season as well. And wide receiver Keenan Allen never put up the numbers that they expected he'd put up when they made the trade with the Chargers. I thought that the kid kept it together as well as any veteran would have kept it together. And I expect great things from him now because he has got a great offensive mind alongside in Ben Johnson, and they will work together now, all right, from the offseason camps that'll start April 7th. Bears with an opportunity to have a camp April 7th because they have a new head coach. And then April 20th again, then they'll have the draft, then they'll have rookie mini camp, and then they'll have OTAs, which will be so important. And I truly believe that Caleb Williams wants to learn and wants to win because he gets what's at stake. And what's at stake is the potential of a $300 or $400 million contract in 4 years.
Yeah, incredible money right there. You're going to owners meetings this weekend to West Palm Beach. Not a bad place to be right now. That's kind of one of the cooler events in the NFL because it's the closest you can get to the top people in the NFL. So you'll be around Kevin Warren, George McCaskey, Ben Johnson, Ryan Poles. What are you looking forward to? And as someone who's been there before, what do you gain most from going to owners meetings?
I'll tell you what, you brought it up. This is an opportunity where there are just a handful of reporters that have been invited to the NFL owners meetings, about 10, 11, 12 reporters from Chicago, writers, media people, Jeff Joniak as well, the voice of the Bears. And you have a chance to get one-on-one with George McCaskey, plenty to talk about. Are they going to Arlington Heights? Are they going to build a new stadium there? If not, is the lakefront still in play? Kevin Warren, okay? What about the stadium? Shovel in the ground 2025, you've been promising. How quickly are we going to get a decision on where the new home of the Bears will be? And do you like the progress you're seeing so far in Hallis Hall between Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson? Ryan Poles, do you like what you did in free agency? Give us a scoop. Tell us what's going on. What are you thinking about now that you've been to some of these pro days? What are you thinking about as we approach the NFL draft at the end of April? And Ben Johnson, who I have found, and you've had an opportunity to speak with him a couple of times, he's been very forthcoming, very open. And I'm curious as to some of the conversations he's had off the record, one-on-one, with the players that are part of this franchise, that were part of the franchise a year ago, and how these players, how this team is going to come together and be better than the 5-12 squad we saw last season.
What I gather from him every time I talk to him is one, and I say this every time, is he's very intense, and I think he has very direct messaging, and I also think he understands that when he talks to the media, he treats it as he knows that players are listening, so it's another way to get his messaging across, and I expect him, if he were to have a one-on-one conversation with the player, he would be the exact same way, and I think he made that clear in how he addressed players in his opening press conference, like looking directly into their eyes, saying the stakes are higher than ever, you're going to work harder than you've ever worked, so buckle up because this thing is about to take a turn. If you want to be great, these are the steps you have to take. So every story I've heard from him, he's always that exact same way, which I find interesting, but I think it's part of what's gotten him to where he is today and being very well respected by all accounts of all the players that he's coached. Have fun at owners' meetings.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Have fun at the Breakers. I mean, not a bad place
No,
at
not
all.
a bad place. I hope I get to go outside because a lot of the work takes place inside. But, you know, the NFL owners have quite a party on Monday night.
I've heard.
And I will be there.
We know you will. He'll never miss a party. So much to find out over owners' meetings. As we mentioned, Lou Canellis will be there to get interviews with Kevin Warren, George McCaskey, Ryan Poles, and Ben Johnson. And, of course, we'll bring you the latest from Florida next week right here on the Offseason. See you then.